Hi, I'm Julie Leonard, life coach and happiness evangelist. And this week we're speaking all about journaling. We had a fantastic conversation in the Happiness Club, and I can't wait to share all the information that came out from that. As always, I love to share something that's been really well researched, well used, and is a tool that I use myself and I know helps so many people increase their happiness. So, whether you are a regular with your journaling, whether you've dabbled in it but it's never been a consistent habit, or whether you've been thinking about it and never known where to begin or what to do, or maybe you think, oh, I'm not good at writing, I couldn't be good at journaling, then this video is for you. There's definitely something for everyone here. Now, why is journaling so good? Well, it makes me think of when we were younger, when we were teenagers, perhaps you used to have a diary or a notebook where you wrote down everything that was going on in your mind. Remember all those things that were so dramatic and emotional or difficult? We often kept a diary and wrote things down or a journal. And I think journaling is like the adult version of that. It's a space where we can express the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions, the confusion, the turmoil at times. It's a space where we can write that down and get that flow and put things out there that maybe we're not able to express to others or don't feel we can talk to other people about. Or maybe we need a space to make sense of stuff so that then we can go and speak about it. But journaling is just an absolutely fantastic tool to use. Let me share some of the benefits with you. Again, there's lots of different research on this, and here's some of the findings. There's loads. When I was looking into this and preparing for this, I kept coming up with so many different reasons why journaling is so good for us. I mean, it's great for our physical health as well as our mental health. And I'm here obviously talking about our happiness and our emotional well being. So, here are some of the reasons, based on research, why journaling is good for you. First and foremost, it's shown to really help reduce stress and anxiety. Um, it's important to be able to find a space to process what we think and what we feel. And so a journal can be a great space for us to process, to work through, to explore, to understand what's going on in our minds, and therefore reducing the stress and anxiety that comes with a lot of worry that we have. It's also been shown to be very good for reducing feelings of depression and also improving mood and, of course, our feelings of happiness. And like I'm hinting at, it's probably one of the best therapies that you could have, like the cheapest therapy you could have, but it gives us time and space to process our thoughts, feelings, emotions, um, so that we can really work out how we're feeling. We are all incredibly busy, and often the days go by, the weeks go by, and we've not really had time to stop and think what's really going on? How am I feeling? How am I responding to stuff? What's going on? And that's when we build up feelings of stress and anxiety and worry and fear. And it's often later when that gets stronger, when those feelings are too strong, that's when we stop and examine, oh, okay, what's going on? I need to work on this. By doing something daily where you're processing your thoughts and feelings and emotions, then you're reducing that buildup of stress and anxiety and worry. And this is very, very important. Like I've said many times, happy people feel and process all emotions, a whole range of emotions, not just the happy, great feelings, but all the other feelings, all of them. So it's important that we can sit and feel what we feel and understand what we think and process that. And of course, if we're processing, we're not hanging on to something, we're not ruminating on it, we're not worrying about it. So we can let it go a lot of the time. We can understand and let it go. And that, of course, reduces feelings of anxiety and stress and depression. And therefore, if we're doing that, then we improve our mood and our happiness. It's also a really great tool to help us identify our triggers, to really become much more self-aware so that we can understand the things that trigger us, the patterns we have, the things that we respond to, and develop that inner self-awareness so that we can understand it or perhaps change it, or respond differently to things. Also, I think like journaling helps you learn to express yourself, to like know what you think, and therefore be able to then communicate better with other people. Sometimes it's hard to know what we want to say or how we feel or what's going on. And therefore, if you get that space to understand how you're feeling, that you're able to then go back and communicate and express yourself better to other people. So I think that's a really powerful one actually, because I know often it takes me time to process, like, how do I feel about this, or what I think about this. I'm not always so instantaneous, and I need that space to go and reflect and come back and go, okay, this is what I think, or this is what I feel. And research is showing that it helps us sleep better too. Uh, when we process our emotions, when we go through the thoughts, when we analyze our day, particularly if you're reflecting at the end of the day, then you're going to sleep better. And there's research showing that people that write to-do lists or plan out the next day or are reflecting on how they feel sleep better. They fall asleep faster as well, and they sleep better. Do you notice that sometimes you have a busy day, you go to bed, and either you take ages to fall asleep even though you're exhausted, or you wake up in the middle of the night and you're thinking about things, or you have like anxiety dreams, or, loads of bizarre thoughts? You know, that's when our subconscious is working. Your brain's like, right, okay, we can stop now, and I can work out what's been going on all day. If you don't give yourself space to do that, then your brain has to find that time, and it's usually when we're sleeping. So if you want to sleep better, journal before you go to sleep. And finally, I think journaling helps us increase our creativity and generate ideas. Giving yourself space and headspace to think really increases our creativity, and that can only be a good thing. So these are some of the tips. As I say, there's so many amazing reasons why journaling works, but here are some of the main ones. So, how do you get started with journaling? What do you do if you've never done it before? Well, a couple of simple tips to get started is choose the materials that you're going to need. And we'll go through some of the different styles so then you can work out what you need. But typically, we use a really nice notebook and a pen. So if you're going to be doing some writing as a journaling exercise, get yourself a really nice notepad, find a really good pen, have that ready to use. And we'll look at all the other different mediums you can use, and you can make sure that you have everything ready and prepared. Then I would encourage you to think about a time and a place that you're going to do your journaling. Um, think about when is a good time for you. Do you want to journal in the morning and set yourself up for the day? Do you want to do reflection at the end of the day? When is a good time for you to do that? And where can you do that? As you set out, as you begin, set aside time and space to do it, uninterrupted time. You'll learn to be able to journal wherever you are, but you might want to create just a quiet time, a quiet space, or maybe thinking about when you have uninterrupted time. If you have kids and lots of other responsibilities, when is a quiet time when you can get a little bit of headspace to reflect on your journaling work? And if you're starting off, start with just like a small amount of time, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Just start small. You can build up over time as your practice develops. So once you've got that in place, then you can think about how you're going to journal. Now, again, there are so many different ways to journal. I'm going to pick out a few for you that I think are great if you're going to start. Um, but feel free to explore different styles and see what fits you. When we talked about it in the Happiness Club, some people were really drawn to like lists and bullet pointing, and some people were like, oh no, I want to do some freestyle, like prose. Some people wanted to do like a gratitude journal. Some people were much more artistic and visual and wanted to draw something. So play around and find what works for you. Don't be afraid to try different styles and see which one is best fit for you. Everybody is different. But some of the basic ones that we could start with and you could look at and are easy to get started. First of all, is just like freestyle. Um, Grab your notepad, grab your pen, and just write what comes into your mind. Don't censor it, don't hold back, don't think about it too much, but just write what is there in your mind. A lot of people like to just write randomly what comes out. You might want to have some prompts, but you might just want to just write things. How are you feeling? What's going on in your mind? What's bothering you? Um, Anything that you want to discuss, you can put that down and just write. Now, I'm going to say this here before going further. This is for you. This is not about how good a writer you are, how great your prose is, how beautiful your handwriting is. None of that is only for your eyes. It doesn't matter. So don't get caught up in that kind of side of things. Don't get caught up in perfectionism, how it looks, how you're writing. It's not about how good a writer you are, it's about expressing yourself. So just let it go and just write whatever you want to write. If that feels too big or just not your thing, you can also just do like one line a day. You'll see journals that are just like write a line per day. You might just write something every single day, just a line, reflecting on how you feel, something that happened that day, something kind, act of kindness that happened, or something that made you happy. You might just write one little line per day. So either just free flow or like just write one simple line. That also works. You'll have heard of bullet journaling. So that's one that's also incredibly popular right now. This was created by a student when he was at university, Ryder Carroll. And this really came into prominence around 2013. And now, gosh, there's so many YouTube videos, courses, beautiful bullet journals, lots of colored pens. It's a whole movement. But this might suit you. This was a way that he created to manage lots of different tasks. So perhaps if you feel that you want to manage a few things like a daily to do list or monthly goals or long term goals, household tasks, lots of different things, it's a way for you to track them. And it's a very simple system that you can use. And lots of people love this in terms of keeping track of multiple different lists of things. So if you like lists, if you have a lot to keep track of and you like to get your colored pens out, then bullet journaling could be a really useful tool for you. So explore that one a bit further and see if that works for you. And one that I talk about a lot, and in fact, next video coming up, we're going to delve into it much more deeply, is the gratitude journal. So we know that gratitude and expressing gratitude is incredibly positive for us. And so this is also a type of journaling to take time to reflect on two or three things each day that you're grateful for. It doesn't take long. You just need a little pad and a pen. But again, highly researched as being extremely effective in increasing our happiness and our mood. As I say, tune into the next video after this one, and we'll go into that in much more depth for you. Um, One that came out as well that seemed quite popular and a great idea was to do a dream journal. Some people like to analyze their dreams, but certainly going back to like the sleep issue, where maybe you're having a lot of dreams, it could be quite random, quite strange, or there's people you know in it, or just random situations, or perhaps you identify an anxiety type dream, then writing down your dream in the morning and looking at that and analyzing it can often help you understand what's going on in your mind and what is bothering you, affecting you, how you're feeling, what kind of thoughts are going on, how you're feeling internally. So perhaps a dream journal could be a really good one for you. So again, another one to explore. And then just one last one I wanted to share with you, a lovely idea. One that I've used a lot with clients is to have the unsent letter, unsent being the key part there, I think. But writing a letter either to yourself or to others that you don't plan to send, but allows you to express thoughts and feelings, to process, to perhaps forgive somebody, to forgive yourself, to be kind to yourself. I mean, so many reasons, but Writing an unsent letter could be a lovely way to journal. You might write to somebody that you feel you did wrong by, or somebody who upset you, or someone that you always wanted to say thank you to. You might want to write to yourself about something. This can be incredibly therapeutic. As I say, I use it with my clients a lot, and it can be incredibly powerful. So that also counts as journaling. And yeah, just something that comes to mind as I talk to you now is that, like everything, we like to create a habit, a routine. And that's why I was saying to you, think about a time in a day, in the day, where you could consistently write your journal. Because when we do that, that becomes a routine, and that helps us create a habit, and habit creates consistency, and that gives us results. Um, so ideally, journaling is something that we do every day. However, it's also okay to do it, you know, at individual times in our lives, perhaps over something specific. So, like, as I think of the unsent letter, that could be something where maybe something's happened, there's been a conflict with someone, or an incident at work, or um, something you want to communicate to your parents. These are just some examples. But where you feel maybe you're unable to express that, or you're no longer able to, for whatever reason, then you may want to journal around that, just that one idea, that incident, an event, a situation. So, journaling can also be great as a one off situation as well as a consistent practice. So, I just wanted to share that too. I thought that was really important. There's a lot of reasons why we keep talking about writing in a journal, and that's a lot to do with our brains and how we connect with our handwriting. So, of course, you could journal like on a laptop, on your iPad, in your phone, but there's something about holding a pen, handwriting something. It connects your brain to what you're doing, and it shows your brain that the words that you're writing are very, very important, and they tend to stick in your brain more. So we know, like when we're studying, that students who take lots of notes and then transcribe them or put them into, a report, remember the data more. And in fact, that's what I do when I'm preparing for like my happiness club. Is I'll take lots of notes, I'll write things down, then I kind of write a structure out by hand, and then I take it to the happiness club, and then I take all notes from there, and then I condense it all into what we're doing now. But it means that I remember much more, and I'm more confident about the material, and I remember so much that I can share with you, without having my notes so much. So it tells my brain this is like really important stuff that I want to remember more deeply. So that's the reason we talk about it. However, if you feel that you're not good at writing, or you just don't want to do that, or you feel that you express yourself in different ways, I've also got five, I think, yeah, five different ways that you can also journal in different mediums. So, one that I've been exploring is like visual journaling. So, that is like having some text, but also using colored pens, having drawings, diagrams, doodles, that kind of stuff, outlining things in boxes. I don't know if you're that kind of person, but when I'm writing notes, I love to like jot things at an angle, put a box around it, circle something, put arrows. That's kind of how I do a lot of mine. So I started to study that a bit more and look at how I can just do things much more simplified and just make it clearer, less words, but very visual. So maybe you're a visual person, or like doodling or drawing, mind mapping, those kind of things. Then visual journaling could be great. So don't hold back on the colored pens and pencils, or feel that you can't put drawings or just have drawings in there. That's also a great way to journal, as is like art journaling. So you might just draw or paint a picture. That is also a way of expressing how you feel. So you could use art as a medium to journal with and not have any words in there at all if you don't want to. Another great way is to video. Like if, like me, you like to talk more than you write, which is clear as you can tell. I love to chat. Um, Video could be a great way for you to journal. It's so easy now. Well, we're all on like Zoom and different things, so like you've got that way, but also our phones are incredible tools where we can easily record ourselves doing a video blog, but you could also then journal in a way through audio as well. So there's both of those apps through like your notes or WhatsApp in different ways. So feel free to explore that as other options where you can either video yourself or record your voice um, in order to process what you feel. It might be easy at times to almost like you could rant or just let a stream of consciousness flow verbally, and you might find that incredibly useful. And it's something then that you can play back and look at and analyze. And so I think those also work incredibly well if that's a more comfortable way for you to express yourself. Which is why I love doing like videos like this more so than the writing, because it's much more natural for me to communicate in this way and to speak to you and feel like I come across, I can reach you better and express myself in a way that's clearer and more powerful. So I love being able to talk to you in this way. But there's also apps on your phone as well. So you'll be able to download loads of different apps where you can, um, you know, record things there. There's gratitude apps and a whole host of journaling apps that you can find. So if that feels comfortable, you can do that. Also, like someone was saying, they had set up an Instagram account and they just put photos in there, and that felt like a record. They were traveling, so they just put photos in there, and that felt a way of recording and journaling their travels. So think about all the different ways that you could do it. Don't be put off if you're not a writer. But I hope I'm showing you like the benefits of it, how you can get started, and all the different ways that you can do it. So I would suggest playing around, experimenting, seeing how it feels. I'd be really curious to get your feedback on if you are already journaling, how that works for you and the impact it has. Or if you do start doing it, tell me how that feels for you and if you notice a difference as you continue to journal and you form that habit. So I hope you found this really useful. I loved doing it in the Happiness Club, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.